never love me when I can't even love myself. But I need someone to love me. I know you can. He won't put himself above me. Come on, love me like a man. Well, I've never seen such losers, darling. Even though I try to find me a man who could take me home instead of taking me for a ride. But I need someone to love me. I know you can. Yeah, believe me when I tell you, you could love me, love me, love me like a man. Okay, Katie.
Now listen up, man.
Never seen such losers, darling. Even though I try to find me a man who could take me home instead of taking me for a ride. But I need someone to love me. Yeah, I know you can. Yeah, believe me when I tell you, you can love me, love me, love me like a man. They all want me to rock them like my back ain't got no bone. I need a man to rock me like his backbone was his own. I know you can. Yeah, believe me when I tell you, you could love me. I know you can. They all want me to rock them on my back ain't got no bone. I need a man to rock me like his backbone was his own.
Another reason, as I look around and I see so many faces, and it means so much to me to have you here. And I wanted to tell a story. Now, I was going to do this later, but some of you, I want to make sure you don't miss this. And some of you might not be able to be here. So when they said they were going to wait on dinner, I said, okay, I'll just go ahead and talk now, if that's okay with you guys. I do want you to know the students plan all kinds of entertainment. And there's a raffle over here that you don't want to miss. All the posters that I was given through the years, being president or purchased or whatever, we're going to raffle them all off. So please buy lots of tickets. Your chances are better. So if you see some things, satellite imagery, maps of all kinds, they're all going. Handmade maps, not the table centerpieces, but the wall stuff. So first of all, I'm going to start by thanking the organizer, primary organizer of this event, and that is Pauline here. She's standing up conveniently. I I honestly think this is one of the sweetest things that anybody's ever done for me, and I thank you. She started talking about it, I don't know, 10 months ago or so, and she said, let's go for coffee. You've got to have a party. You can't just retire. And so through the months she's been organizing this. She organized all the people who helped, and I've heard nothing except how organized you are in getting them going. But if you had a hand in doing anything tonight for this party, would you raise your hand, please? Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you. So it means a lot to me, and even I understand the cake is made by Miss Zoe over there. Thank you, and they blew up all the balloons and everything too. So wow. So I don't know how much time I have. I can just stop midway, but I thought you might like to know who's here. And we're done. Oh, I got as you see, we're done already. So I really am honored. You know, it's been a long time coming, but yet it's gotten here very fast, it seems like. And I've spent the last few months tearing apart my office and had a lot of time to do reflection. And as I've decided, I've had a dream job for the last 30 years. And I think I've had a dream life, as a matter of fact. But life is about people, it's about places, and just to see faces. I don't know if you can do a pan of these faces that are here.
Of course.
We're videoing this for me. This is Sandy. So there you go, get all the happy faces out there. And I'm going to try to hit a lot of people and I think I want to tell you a story. It's my story. And you'll be able to see where your story and my story kind of intersect. So, doing it chronologically, I was born to two college professors, teaching at PCC, Pasadena City College. So I guess my fate was determined pretty early on then. I wanted to say a couple things, because I think you'll see this in maybe the characteristics of me, I hope anyways. My dad was just an amazing man. And he always saw the good in everything. And he was just really well liked by everyone. And after 32 years, and I'm bragging on him, he was voted the most popular at the college. My mom believed I could do absolutely anything. And so by the age of 15, I was teaching guitar. And so when I look at the faces out there, there's so many of you that I have remembered fun times, experiences with you, where I knew I could see your potential, and it was just amazing to see it come to fruition. That's from my mom's side, because she believed I could do anything, and then I wanted to share that with you too, because I know all of you can do anything that you want to do. So I had remarkable parents, and at the age of 19, I decided I tell them I wanted to travel the world. I got a backpack. I had my AA degree, and they said, great. They supported me, so that was my first experience traveling. Oh, I should have told you as well that my mom also was a travel agent, so that was a little bit there as well. So in my 20s, I got my bachelor's degree and then started singing. I've been singing and teaching guitar to put myself through school, but I was offered several contracts to go and sing internationally. So I've been to Japan 4 times singing, and then Australia, New Zealand, and other places as well. So that was my 20s, and then by the age of 28, I decided I was tired of being on the road and I needed something to settle me down a little bit, so I was going to do a master's degree. The problem was I just could not figure out what I wanted to do or be. And then I found geography. And it's the study of everything. It's this holistic, integrative, you can learn about anything and use maps, and I love maps, and that was it. That was it. I knew it was the right field for me. So I started teaching part-time at Butte College in the music department and the geography department. And then in 1990, I got my first full-time job at Shasta College. Now, I was trying to find some of the students from there, but I wasn't successful. But I remember them, I remember their names. Some of their photos are over here on this bulletin board. And what they put together was called the Geography Adventure Club. And we had 5 or 6 years of adventures. It was so much fun. It continued after I left the college, but so many fond memories there. Now, you guys, I'm looking at Pauline whenever she gives me that sign. Then in now keep going. Okay. It's all right. I'm only in my. I think I'm only 32 here. Got a ways to go. So anyway, during that time at Shasta College, I got more involved in the California Geographical Society and put on a conference in 2003. And I'm going to recommend that you guys think about joining this organization. And the meeting will be in Northern California this year. We could have a big group go to it. It's like $10 for students. If you're not a student, it's still very affordable. And really, it's just one of the greatest organizations in the state, you know, for geography. Well, that would change my life again. Some of my former professors were involved in that, but we have a gentleman here, Dr. Bill Bowen, who's here with his wife Kathy, and I met him in 1993, and he's one of the most respected demographers, cartographers in the state, probably in the country, and did the California Geographical Survey, and we got to be friends, and he's been my mentor, and he's been a part of my career for many, many years now. I was honored to have him on my letter of references and everything, and he just shows up at some interesting times. I was at NCC teaching, and we were making a big map, and up comes Bill Bowen. So, you know, it's just an honor. Thank you so much for being a part of my life and career. He's now Professor Emeritus, and they're going to be taking a trip to Ireland. So, good for them. I'm hoping to get some travels in too. Well, the next gentleman is someone, when I arrived at Sierra College, by then I was vice president of the California Geographical Society. But I remember arriving and I was given a closet with an old phone book and an old dial phone and no windows, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, because I had a view of Lassen Peak up at Shasta. But I soon met someone else I'd like you to meet. Is in the very back, in the corner in the dark. No, this is Dick Morasso, astronomer emeritus now. Extraordinary. And I have to say, he, during those first, 4 or 5 years, made me feel more welcome than anyone. He completely revamped that office area, built a whole area for the geography department, built me a desk, built map cases, and just the greatest guy. So again, going chronologically, we're now to about 1997. When I started also, there was no geography department, and that was one of the lures. I was wanting to make a difference in Sacramento in terms of getting geography more in the forefront, and so this college allowed me to do that. But I was able to put in 13 courses. Many of you would know those courses that you've taken. A lot of you have taken 4, 5, 6, 7, and even 10 classes from me. So we put in all these courses and started the program at Sierra College Geography program in 1997. Now, within just about a year or so, we had 9 instructors. And the instructors are amazing. Now, they're also pictured on that wall over there, too. I call it was a powerhouse department. Many of them went on to full-time positions throughout the state, just our loss, really. But there's 2 of this Power 9 that are here tonight, and so I wanted to honor and recognize them. Again, way back in the corner, sitting with Dick Morasso, Steve Smith. First guy I hired, and he's an awesome teacher. Everybody just loves him. I have the privilege of co-teaching a class. So anyways, it's been a pleasure, and so Then there's the other guy. Now he's up here in the front. And I also taught with him as well. John, can you turn around to everybody? This is John Beckler. Absolutely master teacher, phenomenal person. And we were teaching Geography 14. Some of you here have taken that. It's Yosemite and the Eastern Sierra. We did that several times, but everybody raved about him and Geography 1 as well. You taught for a number. Yeah. So, now, there was another gentleman that I knew before Sierra College. It was very interesting because I was singing up here at a local restaurant and we became friends. And he ended up coming up and teaching astronomy and said hello to me because my office is right there next to astronomy. This Barry Mix, he teaches astronomy for Sierra College now. And then since we're at that table, somewhere in that same time frame, about 97, I met my good friend Katie Baker, one of the most extraordinary musicians. Well, she's not a teacher. She's just one of the finest musicians that's in the back of the You'll be hearing her a little bit later. All right, let's see. Oh, there was something I found in my files that really, I kept all my meeting folders. I know that sounds boring, but there's something I'm very proud about that no one would probably even know. During the early 2000 period, I was on a lot of boards and meetings because we were trying to articulate the classes for geography. And as it was, you had to basically go to every institution to articulate. And so we were doing what they call CAN numbers, California Articulation Numbers. And I was working with one of my very dear friends, Gail Hobbs, for a number of years. But what I'm excited about is that we were able to pass the torch, and our efforts have come to full pass. And so for those of you that have your geography transfer degree, that is the outcome of all this effort. And we have had that here at Sierra College for about 7 years. So all those meetings, I got rid of my notes. I didn't want to keep them any longer. But it just reminded me of something in the past that's really important that I'm proud of. About the same time, and this would be the student that I think is the longest term student. I had a very bubbly, vivacious gal come, but she just had a major accident. And she was going back to school to basically redirect her life. And I watched this person metamorphosize. And I thought, Ginger, where are you? Right here. Ginger Silvernail, please. She did. She got I remember she was so proud she got every country on that country's quiz. And from where we started, and I knew she could do it. And that's what I mean about how my mom believed in me, and I want to pass that on to everybody because that was just, I won't forget those moments. So, all right, you're going to let me keep going. Oh dear. I know we're all hungry. Okay, so by then I was president of the CGS, and again, I encourage you to go to calgeog.org, calgeog.org, and I'll hope to see all of you there at the meeting. Will be the end of May. I was at Rockland and the NCC campus for a long number of years and teaching TV classes as well. And then in 2004, I moved up to this Grass Valley campus full-time. So most of you are going to know me from this campus. And then they asked me to do a little more than teaching. You know what? Actually, Vanessa, I see you sitting back there. You would have taken one of my earliest classes at NCC. And physical, cultural too?
I think I took every single class.
Aww. Thank you. Well, when I was doing the split load, I remember, is there anybody else that was taking classes in the 90s? Okay. Well, then I came up to NCC full-time, and they asked me to do campus events. The Associated Students Government, ASCC, I started that. Was doing also the ECOS, Environmentally Concerned Organization of Students, which ran until just last year. We need someone to pick that up. But we did Earth Days for a long time. I remember doing that. First year we had 9 bands, because as a musician you had to have a lot of music. We did some history days because this is such a historic community, but my favorite event might be the Sunset Serenade, because as many of you may remember, before the buildings were put up, you could sit there on the campus and look at the sunset. And so we would bring in bands and do concerts. And I'm looking again at faces, and I'm seeing a number of you that actually have come tonight, and I so appreciate it. Deb Davis, Ginger Dial, you were up there during this time in the early, and a part of the early campus life committees and so forth. And sitting next to them is Diana Carolyn, in the red here, she's our GIS instructor. And there's a number of people here that have gone on into GIS, including our Master of Ceremonies, Tyler. So, throughout this whole time, I've been teaching a lot of field classes, 4 basic field classes, sometimes more. And, it's been actually my pleasure to do that. So many of you have taken them, and I think it's the core of the geography teaching. But in the background, not a student, not a teacher, but a driver, I want to honor at this point in time. For 20-some years, John Ford here has been my driver. Can you imagine taking buses around San Francisco? Well, that's what this guy did. And not only that, we would be camping out near Mount Shasta, which was, so I did the urban geography of San Francisco and the Mount Shasta historical. He would be out there early cooking for the students as they got up. And his lovely wife, Angela, is somewhere. She is also a student. And she was thinking, and now is teaching. Are you at Sierra or Yuba or both?
Sierra.
All right. I know I usually get, well, my mom took you and now I'm going to, well, I did have her daughter as well. But with Pauline, the organizer, it was her daughter who took me first and then the mom took me, so let's see. Well, 2009 was a memorable year, and this is a big deal for me too, because we used to have a Study Abroad program, and I was part of the committee, and I always wanted to do it, but I wanted to do short term. Well, we no longer have that program, but what I can tell you is I was privileged to take a group of students, some of them are here tonight, to New Zealand as part of the Sierra College, International Studies program. And there's a book over here. You'll see some of the students. Could you kind of raise your hand? Lacey and Tyler were part of that group that went to New Zealand. What an experience. That was a real highlight for me. So I encourage you to look at the book I made and the flyer for that program. Now, Mr. Tyler here, he actually taught part of that class when they were over there. I have a little portable projector. And I have pictures of him teaching, because he'd taken so many of my classes. He's taken 10 different classes. So he knew his stuff, and that was really fun having him. And that is the most that any student has ever taken. He missed one.
I'll take that to my grave as one thing. Greatest regrets of my life.
I think he had some kind of family reunion or something. Oh boy, I don't know how my time's going now, but I can fast forward. 2013, I released a book I've been working on. When I took my students to the Mount Shasta region, there was nothing like it, and I started interviewing people. So in 2013, my book was finished finally after a sabbatical, and I have graciously put I have put some copies there to sell, to raise money for the cost of this party. So, because the students have put out quite a bit of money, so I want to. So if you're interested, they're $20. I also have some CDs, and that's to raise money. And then there's another publication that's $5. And then don't forget raffle tickets. So that was a big deal for me to actually. And in the back of the book, there's lots of student photos as well. So, well, you know, I probably have missed some. Jerry, right here, Jerry Stubb, biology is here. All right, well, in 2015, I took a group of students to San Francisco, one of my favorite groups, and there's a whole bunch of you here, I think. Could you stand up if you were in that on that trip, 2015? It's just such an honor, and I want to keep in touch with you guys. So now I'm going to be retired. I'll have all this kind of time. I just an hour ago got a response from Connor Bente. I don't know if you know him. He was tutor for geography for a long time. He just finished his degree at UCLA in 2 years, and now is doing research there. But he's coming in tonight at 3 in the morning. And I just didn't get the message to him because I couldn't find a lot of people like him. So I'll look forward to catching up with many people. But, and then I wanted to also mention that I couldn't do what I do if I hadn't had a lot of help. And not in teaching a lab and not having a lab assistant, which many of the sciences do, meant that I needed to rely on students' help. And so through the years, I've had a number of instructional assistants. They've been phenomenal. They've become friends of mine and just an important part of teaching. I've talked with 4 of them, either saw them over Thanksgiving or out of the area. But there's another 4 that are here tonight. And so I wanted to just honor each of them and thank them, because behind the scenes, these are the people that are doing a lot of the work that makes the teaching go as well. So let's see. Trying to think chronologically who is first. I don't know. Maybe it's you. This is Shannon. Shannon, she did all the graphics and maps for my book, and a lot of other things, campus maps and all that. I mean, she's so talented, very graphic oriented, and you probably remember other things. But after 4 years, they told her she couldn't continue to work with me, and I remember we both looked at each other and said, "Why?" So I just loved having you work with me. So I think that was probably the longest term I had. Okay. Then we have Christy Raymond here, and she helped organize, Just a real sweetie to work with, and she helped organize a lot of anything that had to do with Word, spreadsheets, or anything like that. She was, and PowerPoints, and mastered that. There's, okay, I think I'm saving you, Janine, because, but is there anyone else, or is it just 3? I thought there was 3. All right, well, certainly, last but not least, working with me right up until a week ago is Miss Janine Bordeaux. She's standing up at and she's a dual major of geography and photography, so a woman after my own heart, definitely. So when doing all the lab, there's just a lot of prep work, and then these gals, and I also had several guys, made it all possible. So I want to thank you again. Okay, we got to wrap it up. All right, I can do that.
It's about you, though. Take the time.
In 2017 to 2019, I wanted to say that we've had full enrollments at NCC in a period when we're seeing some declines. And I'm very proud of that. I would encourage you all to support this local campus. It's very, very important in the future. Fall 2019, we had the largest GIS class we've ever had under Diana Carolyn's leadership. And the lab I taught had a 20 enrollment cap, and I had 25 in it. And I could have added more. So we've seen a lot of success. Just to raise a couple hands here, if you have had me in the this last semester, would you raise your hand? Okay, if you had me in the last year, would you raise your hand? Keep them up, everybody. Year? That's it? Year and man? Okay, 2 years? No, you're not.
Keep the hands up. Keep the hands up.
2 years, yeah. Well, I was thinking you'd see a lot more. I think some of them are putting them up and down. But anyway, what I wanted to get at is that we, this last fall, had 14 different students complete at least 4 classes, some as many 7 classes. And I think that's remarkable, and I thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Challenges ahead. Oh, you know what? One of my favorite things was the commencement this last year. I got to sing to everybody.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hello, Mother. Hello, Mother. Here I am at Sierra College. It is very entertaining. And they say we'll have some fun if we stop complaining. Now, I do need to honor someone, and that's the lady that was responsible for supporting me all these years, and actually, she is the executive dean of the campus, and she's here, Stephanie Ortiz. Can you look? Thank you so much for all your support. She's been such a support to the program and to me, and I greatly appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. Life is a journey with many destinations. Every map is an invitation for adventure. I believe your best education is experience and travel. But wherever your journey takes you, I'm so glad that our paths have crossed. And I will always remember you all. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
It's gonna take